Okay. So guys, yesterday I told you to read the last lesson. Okay? And the last lesson is written by Karma who?
Alfonso Dode.
Alfonso Dode. It is set in which period?
It is set in the Franco-Prussian War period, like the 1870s and 1870 and 1870.
Okay. So it is set in the 1870s. It is written during the Franco-Prussian War. And I asked you to read the chapter, which some of you have very nicely done. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is, this is called a Fishbone Map. Okay? Now in the Fishbone Map, you are sitting with partners, so you can discuss. Also the book is kept open for you. It's a small chapter. We are going to summarize the whole chapter. Now be very cautious and be very economic with your lines, so that as and when we discuss and you feel, oh, this point I haven't written, it's an important point, we are going to be adding. So here is the Fishbone organizer. What you're going to do is you're going to keep your paper landscape. So just show me what's a landscape. Just rotate the camera. Yeah. So you've got a landscape. What landscape show? Yes, landscape. Right? You've got to use one side. Do not use the other side. We're going to do another activity there. On one side, write the name of the chapter, the date in the margin, and what does the fishbone do, you need to know. So the fish, the mouth of the fish, you can draw anyway. And we will summarize the chapter here. Wait for some time, we will discuss the summary. These are the ribs of the bone. So this is who, did what, when, where, how, and why. All the big things, the main idea, the big things of the chapter. So who, you may find one person, you may find two people, you may find three important characters. I am not using the word protagonist right now or antagonist right now. Okay? Just main people you. So that is who. So if you want to add 2-3 lines, make more lines here. You will write did what. So what did the teacher do, what did the student do, so what's happening in the story. When is it set, around what time, the era, or in the morning, in the school hours, or when is it set. Then you're going to write where, the place, how are things moving, somebody is going to the school, somebody is taking a lesson, some people are, observing, how are things happening, and why is what is happening in the story, and why is it happening in the story. Okay? So, because this is a flipped lesson, I've asked you to read and come. I want to know what you've read and come. So today's period, we are going to be focusing, laser beam focus on the bigger idea. And so in the center, you will have, what's that called? Spinal? Vertebral. So there's a vertebra of the fish which will have the main idea. Please quickly draw this. Draw this. Do you have a pencil? So I want you to leave more lines here. Okay? So that you can add on as many points as you can. Yes?
What are the major headlines? Who did what, when,
Yeah.
how, why, and
Who did what and when? Okay? Who did what and when? This is what in the top line. Who did what and when? And in the bottom line, you have where, how, and why. Where, how, and why. Okay? So by the time you draw your fish, I will try to make a fish of my own. It will not be as pretty as yours, but it will be a fish. That I promise. summary of the lesson into the depths of which we shall deep dive after we know what the lesson has in store for us and how we navigate our understanding through the lesson. Okay? You don't have to write inside here and here because you will be actually writing your main idea there. Okay? ये लिखो आप. You write who, what, when, where, how, why, and you draw those lines. It's going to be looking like this. The name of your chapter is going to be on the top. Okay, the last lesson, and the date has to be here. And you have, wow, you finished. Okay, draw the lines. Draw the lines. And good. So those who have drawn their fish, they can start discussion. You can start discussing. So idea is, masti nahi hai. Idea is to capture as much essence of the chapter that we want, so that 8 months from now, when there is your board exam and you want to remember sar khujate hue, what was the last lesson all about, you open this sheet and the entire lesson jumps at you. All the important points, who, what, why. This is like a recap. Even while you're going to the exam, you just flip this page and things jump. The name of the person, the name of the author, the name of the protagonist, everything jumps at you. So this is going to be like your Bible. So be careful to put everything that you want in your Bible. This is for your recap, this is for the essence of the chapter. Okay? एक magic wand घुमाई और बन गया. That's pretty quick. You want to start? Yes, you want to start. Alright, so now is the time when you can chatter. Talk to your friends, use each other's best knowledge, okay? And you can open your textbook also, because I want you to pull out the essence from your textbook. And so it's talk time. Talk. मैं कान बंद करने पड़े इतना talk कर सकते हो. But you have to be on task. All the talk has to be on task. You are discussing what is to be done. That's your task, and I want you to be on task. So what will you write in the column who? The name of the? The teacher, the student who is running to class. There's an ironsmith. Yes, all the names. And then you can write ironsmith. You can write who. So I'm just getting it.
Somewhat of a character.
No, sketch is something else. I will do later. This is, who are the characters? So when you're revising, you don't have to struggle to find out their names. You don't have to struggle. It's right up there in front of you. Yeah? And so once you write the names of the characters, it becomes easy for you to refer to them for future references. एक बार नाम लिख लिया ना, आपको पता है आपकी दादी नानी 1008 बार रामकृष्ण लिखती हैं. कई सारे घरों में भाई, they write. How many people do that? I have family members who do. They have a notebook and they write the name. So it's just, why do they do that? So that it's there on their tongue also, because they are so often repeating. So just write the name once and it gets easier for you to refer to that name, because they are absolutely fantastic. I am hearing them speak. There's one more teacher also. Bro, you missed one person. Bro, that is what I wanted. Help each other out what one is missing. Fantastic work. Okay, this class's work, huh? So you have to finish it here. So you need to talk more and write more and stuff. On which people can ask you questions. People who you have to refer to, people can ask you, write a character sketch about this person. What was this person thinking? Why did that person have, sit in the back of the class and things like that. Whatever references you will need to pull out, write all the references. Yeah, did what? So was he giving his last lesson? This person was running to his school and was late. Yeah, all that. Just in short phrases. So the teacher's name, he was going, had to deliver his last lesson. The student who was running against time to reach his class. The ironsmith who was asked a question and he said, I'm going to observe a lesson, or he comes to me every time. So whoever important people that you want to refer to later, what they were doing, did what. There's a main thing. Main thing is that he had to deliver a last lesson. That's the main. No. So here is what. This is what do you say? It's like a mind map of the lesson. So the smaller details we will fit in into something else. Who, the 3 people, 4 people, did what? The teacher had to deliver a last lesson. That's the main thing. The student was running late, but when the national anthem was sung, everybody was proud of it. The people who were observing never knew they will have to observe a last lesson. They were all emotional about it. So those are the main things jumping at you. You have to record them. That's why I said if you read the lesson thoroughly, you are able to grasp the lesson. Come to my class, I am not.
Okay. Then
We started late for school, so I'm trying to grab
Okay, who? Haya's got some color in it. I was just hoping somebody gets color in it. So, Haya, would you tell us who are we talking about? The one element. Who? You can read and tell me. M. Hamel. Who is M. Hamel? The teacher. The teacher. Okay. And any other people that the story is talking about? Sorry? The blacksmith. What's the name? Watcher. Sorry? Sorry? It's alright, it's alright. Nobody knows German? It's alright. How would you pronounce it? Washer? Okay, let's have the German teacher. Okay, who else are we talking about? France. Okay. Now what? Who did what? Would you tell me who did what? He did not read the bulletin board. He was running against time to reach the class. Who else did what? The very most important thing, that is the essence of the whole chapter. What did the teacher do?
M. Hamel wore a green coat. He was sentimental as he gave the last lesson with great patience. He had taught for 40 years and was usually short-tempered, but that day, on the day of the last lesson, he taught with a great deal of patience.
So she's got the, lemon squeezed out of it. That, which was exactly for 40 years he'd been teaching. He'd never been so passionate. But today, on the last day of the lesson. Okay. So what's the next thing we're talking about? Where is this whole thing happening?
Alza. The French town of Alza.
The French town. And where in the French town? So you have 2-3 lines to write. So where is it?
Classroom.
In the classroom. Which school is it? Is it a language school or is it a grammar school? What kind of thing? So do we know, did we learn about grammar schools? What were grammar schools?
No.
Why? I'm not going to be telling you. So the next task is to find out what are grammar schools. Are they still in existence? Do we have grammar schools in India? What were grammar schools? Okay? No, you have to find out and tell me. Okay, so who, what, when is this happening? During the Franco-Russian War. Russian War. Okay. Now, can somebody give me a little other than Arab? a little background of the Franco-Prussian War? Did you research more, or did you just? So, my suggestion to you is, please research some and come. Don't come with what is written in the text. Explore. Go ahead. Get me some information that you can share with others. And don't be kitab ka keeda. Find out for me what exactly happened. Who won? Who lost? Kaun jeeta?
The Prussians.
The Prussians won against the France. So what did France have to do? So then we'll come out to French language. How she mostly discussed, how did it happen? The lesson was delivered with great patience, great compassion, ownership of the language. How was it taken by? So there were some more people in it, which people may would have told, who were sitting in the background, back of the class. Why were they sitting?
They were paying respect to their teacher and their culture, and the teacher had served for 40 years, he had taught for 40 years.
So they'd come to pay respect to the teacher and their language. So can we safely say that the entire episode of the last lesson happened because of the love for their own language, the native language, the mother tongue, the mother language? What is your language? One of you. Just what is your mother tongue?
Gujarati.
Hindi.
Hindi? Bengali? Gujarati? Hindi? Gujarati? Odia? Bengali? Sorry? Hindi? Hindi? Punjabi? Wow, the Punjabi language. Okay, what? Odia? Wow. Okay, alright. So I will let you people own up your languages later. So now tell me, do you even know?
Yes.
Read and write?
Yes.
Can you write?
Yes.
No.
No. You can. You can. Hindi people will write, Gujarati people will write. I want to know about Oriya. I want to know about Punjabi. You can? Which language?
My mother tongue is Telugu and Odia. I can write both the languages. Read and write.
So now tell me, we'll spend 5 minutes on why such a big focus on languages, right? If you see in our country now, they have come up with a national new education policy. In that also, there's a lot of emphasis laid on mother tongue for foundational year stages, right? So then, you are thinking, students, I want you to tell me, what is it that is so passionate about your mother tongue that you should, or you have, when you say, talk about your mother tongue, your eyes light up and you say, yeah. So what is it that connects you so much to your mother tongue?
Because I'm proud of my culture.
Because I'm proud of my culture. Okay? Perfect.
It's more than just a language that you speak.
1 minute. Because it's more than just
Just a language, it becomes a part of who you are.
it becomes a part of who you are.
A sense of identity.
A sense of identity. I want you to note that down. So in your main idea, now you have a rib. You have a rib inside your skeleton. So the main idea. So what did you say? Just write the keywords. What did you say?
I'm proud of my culture.
You're proud of your culture. So culture. Then you said? Connect.
It becomes a part of.
It becomes a part of who you are. So culture, who you are. You said identity. What are you going to say?
I was going to say it helps us connect with our family and the relatives, so we feel more belong.
It makes you stay connected with your family, your roots.
Yes.
So your sense of belonging to your roots. Sense of belonging. So are you writing that in the rib?
Yes.
That's the main idea. And what all these things is done by what?
The language.
The language. The language that you own. Any other things that coming across?
Ma'am, I've been listening it since our childhood, so it's like sort of nostalgic for us. Maybe.
You feel nostalgic to your language. Yeah, Anupriya, one minute.
Ma'am, somehow mother tongue is a language which is not taught to you. It comes naturally from within, and I don't think anyone is taught Hindi to, like, we start speaking at the age of 5 and nobody is teaching us. So that is something that we are self-taught, that we are inborn with. So that is why.
Because our parents speak to us in that language. If our parents were to start speaking to us in a Russian or something, then we would, that will be, so that's because the mother speaks to the child, who's to the child in that language. And somebody else was saying something. Yes,
We subconsciously think in that language.
subconsciously we think in that language. We think in that language. Okay, so yeah.
Unifies the people of India.
It
Unifies everyone in India.
So it unifies people in that region. Even if you're out of that region. So the Indians in USA, when they are celebrating an India Day or something, or a Republic Day, it still unifies them, though they are not in the land of their origin. But it unifies people. So language unifies people. Language gives them identity. Language unifies people. Language makes them who they are.
Language expresses art.
Language expresses art. Okay. So yeah, there are poetry. Amrita Pritam, have you heard of? There are people who write for the different languages, and so you go to Sherki Garba, and that's in that language which you listen to, and then there is Falguni Pathak who sings in Hindi, so that's a different language. But yeah, when you go to Garba, you want to go to Atul Purohit's Garba, right? You want to go to Atul Purohit's Garba because he brings out the essence of the native language of this. Great. So have you written, oh, there had to be many words in your rib. Have you written all the words in your main idea rib? Yeah. So, okay. Would you be able to now summarize and put the face of the fish?
Yes, ma'am.
So what's the summary of the chapter if you read it again? Those who hadn't read it yesterday, did you go and read it?
Yes, ma'am.
You did?
Yes.
So can you tell me in 2-3 sentences what the story is all about?
And the story is about the aftermath of the Franco-Prussian War, in which France loses two of its territories, because of which in those territories German language was imposed over the French people, and it's about the feelings of rebellious feelings and patriotism towards their own country because of the language being imposed. Even Franz, a child that did not pay attention in any of his classes, wanted to pay attention to his last class, was reviewed to his teacher.
So there's another thing that thank you so much for bringing out. Yeah, I just come back to it. So he brought out 2-3 terms more. Rebellious. He brought out the term rebellious because you're feeling rebellious because you were being imposed. So an imposition when you're forced to adapt some other thing than your natural heritage. Yeah. So an imposition to which there was rebellion. And there's one more thing that he spoke about. Compassion. Patriotism. So the love for your country, just, the child who was never bothered to go to school, never bothered to attend an annals class, never bothered to, so scared of, the grammar, but he spoke so well. So all those things suddenly took a flip. Where the feeling of patriotism, so there are some emotions that bind people so much, and so a love for your roots is one of them. I'll say roots, and then it roots your culture, your heritage, your art, your craft, your language, everything, the traditions, the rituals, everything comes in, right?
One doesn't realize the importance of what we have, and most of the time until we are close to losing it or we have already lost it. Like little Franz was not as interested in the subject earlier, but when he did realize that German would be imposed on them, he starts paying more attention. Even the teacher who was quite strict earlier and used to be he would scold the students was now teaching very patiently, trying to give them everything he had in that limited time.
Don't take things for granted.
Don't take things for granted. You get to learn the value of things when they're slipping out of your hands. And both of them, how they change for the good. The student changed for the good and the teacher changed for the good. Though the teacher was usually a very stern and assertive teacher, but that day with all his softness and gentleness, he taught them, and how the students were paying attention. Even outsiders who never attended their children's classes were sitting in rapt attention to see what's going on in the class, and like it was yeah.
So they were
Appreciating the German class. So yeah, great. Thank you for bringing that point as well. So we've got 5-6 points. I want you to summarize quickly and complete this. And I think my job is done, because now you know the chapter in and out. What we will now do is, we will do one reading. You will underline important points. You love reading. I will ask you to read. We will do a reading, and we will underline and bracket and make things pop out at us, so that when there are references to be made, you have the references jumping out at you from the lessons. But the story you have ingrained in yourself, I can understand that. रात को 2 बजे कोई नींद में से उठा के आपको ये चैप्टर के बारे में पूछेगा, आप बोल सकोगे. That much I am sure. You will be, because you will be discussing it today. Sorry, not about you, Abdullah, because you were not present. So now you have to make that effort.